Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: ESG investing is dying on Wall Street. Here's why. Amazon managers should manage more, take attendance less. Rakuten to invest $363 million in better frequency cell base. JLR opens UK EV test facility as it gears up for electric cars. Tesla to exceed $9 billion spending target this year as it rolls out new models. ESG investing is dying on Wall Street. Here's why. CNN. The market for environmental, social, and corporate governance, ESG, investing in the U.S. is broken, according to Robert Jenkins, head of global research at Lipper. Assets under management in ESG funds in the U.S. declined from $339 billion in Q2 to $315 billion by the end of Q3 2023, according to Lipper. Speaking to CNN, Jenkins said ESG investing does not work because you can't have materiality embedded within a metric in a qualitative fashion. He said it is difficult to measure something based on feelings or opinions without specific details or quantities. Jenkins said the ESG concept is important, but needs to be thought of more broadly, and called for the use of artificial intelligence to help measure ESG investments. The interview took place before the U.S. entered into a period of political tension. Jenkins said the conflict in Ukraine pushed the investment community over the edge. If these conflicts get worse, I think you're going to see a lot of movement away from any sort of ESG thematic products into safe havens, he warned. Amazon managers should manage more, take attendance less. Bloomberg. Amazon is encouraging managers to confront and possibly fire employees who do not come into the office at least 3 days a week, according to Business Insider. However, this approach puts middle managers in a difficult position as they must choose between firing employees who may be doing a good job remotely or risking their own futures. There is still disagreement about whether remote workers are as productive, with employees claiming they are equally or more productive at home, while HR leaders are less convinced. It is important to find a balance between remote and in-person work to ensure productivity and accountability. Rakuten to invest $363 million in better frequency cell base. Reuters. Japanese company Rakuten Group has announced it will invest 54.4 billion yen, $362.81 million, to construct cellular base stations, following the government's decision to allocate the company's carrier a better frequency for connection. Rakuten hopes this move will help boost its struggling mobile phone business and enable it to compete with established players in the market. The company plans to open 10,661 base stations for the platinum band frequency and expects its cell phone business to become profitable in 2026. Rakuten intends to reduce capital expenditure by around 300 billion yen between 2023 and 2025. JLR opens UK EV test facility as it gears up for electric cars. Reuters. Jaguar Land Rover, JLR, has opened an electric vehicle, EV, test center in England as part of its plans to develop and launch new EV models. The luxury carmaker, owned by India's Tata Motors, has invested £250 million, $304 million, in the Future Energy Lab in Whitley. The facility will allow JLR to test EVs on-site, reducing the cost of shipping prototype cars around the world for testing and lowering associated emissions. JLR plans to invest £15 billion over the next 5 years to develop EVs, with a new electric Jaguar model set to launch in 2025. Tesla to exceed $9 billion spending target this year as it rolls out new models. Reuters. Tesla has announced that its capital expenditure for 2023 will exceed its previous target of $7 billion to $9 billion. The increase in spending is due to the company ramping up production at its factories and preparing to launch new models. Tesla is set to start shipments of its updated Model 3 sedan and the Cybertruck in the last 3 months of this year. However, the company's spending is expected to return to the $7 billion to $9 billion range in the next 2 years. CEO Elon Musk recently stated that the company is uncertain about its plans for a factory in Mexico due to the uncertain economic outlook. He also warned that rising interest rates could impact demand for Tesla vehicles. Tesla's shares were down 1.2% in pre-market trading. How AI is helping baby boomers find kids who need a mentor. CNN. Eldora is an online platform that pairs adults aged 60 and above with young people aged 5 to 18 for regular video chats. The initiative was developed to address the growing loneliness epidemic which is affecting both older and younger people. In a statement, Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy said that the health risks of loneliness and isolation are as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Dana Griffin, CEO of Eldora, hopes to solve this issue by bringing together older and younger people through one-to-one video chats. The platform uses an AI algorithm to match people based on around 200 different variables. Eldora also conducts background checks and uses AI to monitor conversations to ensure they are safe and respectful. The moon is 40 million years older than thought, ancient crystal suggests. Washington Post. The surface of the moon formed at least 40 million years earlier than previously believed, according to a new study. Scientists have long agreed that the moon formed some 4.5 billion years ago, when a Mars-sized object called Theia collided with the early Earth, spewing out debris that eventually coalesced into the moon. However, the precise timing of this event has been the subject of debate. The new study, which examined a 4.46 billion-year-old lunar crystal, suggests that the molten moon solidified 40 million years earlier than previously thought. The crystal was embedded in rock collected by the Apollo 17 astronauts. The findings of this study push back the minimum age of the moon's formation. While the study provides important new information, scientists caution that it does not provide a definitive answer and that further research is required. Open banking, not taxes, will help customers. The Globe and Mail. The Canadian government's plan to introduce new taxes on the financial industry while dragging its feet on reforms to boost competition in the sector is short-sighted and will ultimately harm banks and their customers, according to an opinion piece in the Globe and Mail. The new taxes, which include a temporary charge of 15% on the average 2020 and 2021 taxable incomes over $1 billion of large banks and insurers, will increase costs for banks and could result in higher fees for customers and less capital deployed through loans. The piece argues that instead of new taxes, the government should push through pro-consumer reforms such as open banking to bring competition and lower fees to the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer of the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights. Today, we covered a range of topics, from the decline of ESG investing on Wall Street to the importance of finding a balance between remote and in-person work. We also discussed Rakuten's investment in cellular base stations, JLR's new EV test facility, Tesla's increased spending, and the use of AI to connect baby boomers with young people in need of a mentor. Finally, we learned that the moon is older than previously believed and discussed the Canadian government's approach to taxes and open banking in the financial sector. Now, let's dive into some analysis. ESG investing may be losing its shine on Wall Street, but the concept itself is still important. While it may be difficult to measure qualitative factors, like social impact or environmental responsibility, it doesn't mean we should abandon the idea altogether. Instead, we should explore ways to use artificial intelligence to help measure these investments more effectively. As for Amazon's approach to remote work, finding a balance is crucial. Some employees thrive remotely, while others may need the structure of an office environment. It's up to managers to assess individual situations and make informed decisions. Rakuten's investment in cellular base stations is a strategic move to boost their struggling mobile phone business. By securing a better frequency for connection, they aim to compete with established players in the market. It's a bold move, and if successful, it could pave the way for profitability in the cell phone business in the coming years. JLR's new EV test facility is a step in the right direction for the automotive industry. By reducing the cost and emissions associated with shipping prototype cars for testing, they are making progress towards a more sustainable future. Tesla, on the other hand, is ramping up production and spending to prepare for new models. While this may temporarily increase their capital expenditure, it is necessary for their growth and expansion. However, they should keep an eye on economic uncertainties and rising interest rates, as they could impact demand for their vehicles. In a heartwarming story, Eldora is using AI to connect baby boomers with young people in need of a mentor. Loneliness and isolation can have severe health impacts, and this initiative is a creative way to address the issue. By matching individuals based on various factors, Eldora is creating meaningful connections and fostering intergenerational relationships. On a more cosmic note, new research suggests that the moon is older than we previously thought. While this may not have an immediate impact on our daily lives, it adds to our understanding of the universe and the history of our own planet. And finally, in the world of finance, the Canadian government's focus on taxes instead of implementing open banking reforms may have unintended consequences. Instead of burdening banks with additional costs, introducing competition through open banking could lead to lower fees and better services for customers. And now, my dear viewers, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you agree with the decline of ESG investing on Wall Street, or do you see potential for its revival? How do you feel about the balance between remote and in-person work? And what are your opinions on the use of AI to connect generations and the age of the moon? I'm eager to hear your insights and answer any questions you may have. So, let's get the discussion started. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.